BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. The year has been great. We're at the penultimate round here at Donington Park. All the way back to Rockingham when we had the first round where JJ Clements took a maiden win. It was all starting to steamroll for Tom Roach. He won at Anglesey in very, very difficult, treacherous conditions where we saw a lot of carnage happen to several cars. And last time out at Brands Hatch, Tom Roach was almost unbeatable. We're here at Donington Park. Can Tom Roach continue with his roller coaster ride, or can James Blake Baldwin take it to him all the way? Let's find out what happens during the races. So we have Clive Powell's on pole from Callum Edwards with Matt Robinson and Sam Smith, the second row of the grid. Adam Craig is alongside driver number 5 Richard Collins, with Nick Dougal and Killer Kinghorn in 8th position. Jake Simpson with Ian Prescott alongside him, and Paul Tucker alongside Tony Liversidge. Dale Whiteman finds himself lined up alongside Kevin Brent, with Dave Hart and Chris Hart lining out 15th and 16th. Simon Woods and Matthew Tasker 17th and 18th, and right at the back it's Nick Ledoyen. Dry track, Donington looking ideal, and away we go. We're already racing. Kind of caught myself off guard there. Such was the quickness of the turnaround of the lights by the start marshal there. Down towards Redgate we come. Few cars jockeying for position, but up the inside it's a nice good smooth manoeuvre. It's Matt Robinson who takes the lead in the 69 car. Now there's a bone of contention. Look at the marks running wide over the Redgate curb. Lots of people being penalised throughout qualifying session for exceeding track limits, but we're already down Craner curves. Sam Smith's right in the middle of that, number 31 there, but have we lost somebody? There's a cameraman just had a moment there. Slight moment for the cameraman, thankfully he lost his footing. Number 5 Richard Collins goes flashing through the middle of the screen as well. Easy to spot Richard Collins with a lovely Union Jack flag draped across the bonnet of his MX-5. 4th place for 31 Sam Smith at the moment. The number 1, 2, 3 Callum Edwards putting Matt Robinson under a fair old amount of pressure. As we come through, McLean's up towards Coppice. Tricky part of the circuit here. You've got to get a good run through here to try and get yourself down the back straight. Very important part of the circuit. Clive Powell is still in 3rd place. The iconic Dunlop Bridge is no longer here at Donington, but as we come down the straight there's just enough time for you to gather your breath as you go in towards the Fogarty S's. Very tricky part of the circuit here. The red sausage curbs have been put in to stop people cutting too much of the corner, and Callum Edwards makes good use of those curbs there, gets himself up the inside and does a very good pass on Matt Robinson. Takes the lead in the number 1, 2, 3 car. These guys all funneling down towards Redgate. Robinson starting to look at the outside. He's surely not going to go around the outside of Callum Edwards. Callum Edwards is not going to let that happen, no. Just holds his own line there and shows Robinson the edge of the track. Sam Smith goes for a cut back on Powells as they go through Hollywood on towards the top of the Craner curves. Big intake of breath, gentlemen, because this is a very big boys corner as you come down through the Craner curves in towards the old hairpin. Not much of a hairpin these days, as you can see. Through comes Edwards. Lots of tyres squealing from these little MX-5s as they go underneath the Schwantz curve through Starkey's Bridge. 7 cars all starting to break away at the front. Collins just off the back in the number 5 car. Trying to get a visual on the car behind him just now. It was quite difficult to look, it was quite far away. But up they come. Once again, all sorts of jockeying for position. Robinson under increasing pressure here. Powells has gone past him. Good move by Clive there, and Sam Smith now having a little look at the inside the pink car as they go down the back stretch. Once again, down the straight here, past International Centre. On your left hand side if you're driving, and Edwards once again having to do a bit of defending here as they come in towards the S's. He's squeezing Clive out of the way, but Clive makes a good move, goes through the inside, and he spins, oh dear, over the sausage curb, but he's hit head on. Matt Robinson gives him not much of a hit there actually, just give him a bit of a tap, enough to bend in the bumper and the bonnet, but Clive will be ruining the decision to try and go past Callum Edwards there. Callum made it quite difficult for him, he's not there to make it easy. But it was a clean move by Callum. He just didn't give Clive much in the way of room. Unfortunately, Clive spins and went over the hot dog curb, the sausage curb we'll call it as well. So let's hope that's not done any damage to the underneath of the car, such as exhaust, brake lines or anything like that. Back through the Craner curves we come with this race 1B. As you see the Craner curves here, very big boys corner. Fast stuff, big boys and big girls, you should say. Paul Tucker's right in the middle of that there. And number 74, Nick Dougal as well. They come up towards McLean's area of the circuit. The big winner of that one's Callum Edwards. Callum Edwards getting away at the front now. Sam Smith still involved in that battle up at the front. Tucker trying to hold off Dougal there as Dougal goes up the inside. Has he made a manoeuvre? No, he looked like he was shaping him up. Got a little bit loose and leery on the brake, but managed to control that. That's John Killer Kinghorn in there as well. We'll keep our eye on the 38 car. John making his way up towards the sharp end here, and a good showing from Killer Kinghorn actually. As you watch the rest of these guys come through the Fogarty S's and cross the line one more time. Tony Liversidge is right in the middle of this as well. Good to see Tony getting a bit of TV time. As you'll see, Edwards going through, Collins in second place, Smith in third, change of position for fourth there. A good overall move there. That was Matt Robinson getting back into some sort of decent position after that little bit of coming together he had when he hit the Ernst Clive Powells, who was facing the wrong way in the Fogarty S's. One of these racing incidents which you can have, but look at the speed of them as they come down through the crane of curves in towards Old Hairpin. Good overtaking manoeuvre here, and a good pass, a good solid pass. He managed to get everybody through in one piece. Adam Craig there, the white car with the yellow flash across the bumper. So a good showing from Adam at Brands Hatch actually. He was involved in an unfortunate accident which wasn't really his fault towards the end of the lap going through Surtees. 188 also Jake Simpson. Good to see Jake out there with the novice cross on the back of his car, the yellow cross, the yellow square with the black cross going through it. And Jake actually holding off number 74, which is Nick Dougal, very well there. Nick again looked like he was having a shot up the inside, and Paul Tucker in the Blendini Motorsport car tucked in behind him. Heading down the back straight once again. Pick a breaking point. We can hear in the background Callum Edwards already flashing through and on his way to click off another lap and start. Well, Callum Edwards is now going to start to try and control this race from the front. Really what he's got to try and do, he's got a nice enough gap over Richard Collins in second place and Sam Smith, but further down again they're still fighting for positions. And this time it looks like 74 Nick Dougal has got up the inside of Jake Simpson. He pushes Jake, well he doesn't push Jake, he just gives Jake no option there. And Jake runs just that little bit wide, unfortunately. He will be a little bit miffed at that, one would imagine, but down through the crane of curves. Look at that, Killer Kinghorn going round the outside of Tucker. Good move by John. Oops, somebody's gone off. Oops, Adam Craig. Adam Craig volleys off the circuit as they go in towards the Old Hairpin. I think that would have happened as he come through the left-hand downward swoop of the crane of curves. And that's going to hurt him, that is. It's put him quite far back down the position and almost knocked him out of contention for that one. That's a great shame for Adam. In towards the Coppice area, very important corner as we've mentioned before. Got to get the traction down, got to get the car through the corner and head down that back straight. Trying to not have the car sideways out the corner because it will just hurt you on that back straight as you head down towards the Fogarty S's. Once again we could hear Callum Edwards roaring through in the background there. Callum putting in a stonking performance here. Paul Tucker was looking at the back of Killer Kinghorn there and he was a little bit lame mid-corner. Lost just a little bit. Clive's on the comeback as well. Clive Powells is right in the middle of that and he's on the comeback trail. Somebody getting a good bit of encouragement from the pit wall. We always like to see that. Who needs a pit board when you've got a mechanic with an arm? That's what we think. Tucker defensive in towards Redgate, and he has to be defensive because he's got Jake Simpson all over the back of him. Simpson involved in that. Oh, and there's not a lot of room there, and you don't want to be in the grass. But if you've already been off once, you do not want to be off again. In towards the Old Hairpin, Killer Kinghorn just flashes through. Then it's Tucker, then it's Simpson. The number 40 car just going through your screenshot there just now. Ian Prescott and Sam Smith though has got a bit of a manoeuvre happening on Richard Collins at the front here and brought Matt Robinson along for a bit of a play. So Collins is now under all sorts of pressure in that number 5 MX-5 as they come down the straight once again. Collins got a little bit of a breather now. That move from Sam Smith has obviously just dropped them back just that little bit, and Smith's going to have to watch because Matt Robinson's a very, very quick chap. And unfortunately caught up in that little incident. Let's look at Killer Kinghorn. Killer Kinghorn looking up the inside here of Liversidge. And is that Adam Craig also on the comeback? No, that's 188. That's still Simpson we're seeing coming through the shot there. Getting a good move on Paul Tucker. Clive Powell's on the wrong side of everything. It's just not his race right now. Clive on the wrong side going through the Fogarty S's here and showing no, absolutely nothing from Ian Prescott as they come down once again through Redgate. There's Killer Kinghorn, number 38 blue car with the orange roll cage and orange stripe right over the top of him. And Killer, where it would say a registration plate or any other normal car, but down through Hollywood in towards the Craner curve we come. Good move by Killer Kinghorn just to get ahead there. This is where Adam Craig left the road at very high speed, but Adam already on the comeback trail, so we'll have to keep our eyes out for the number 29 white car with the yellow stripes across the bumper. Meanwhile, this car was positioned up the plains looking back down through the Swans curve. John Kinghorn catching up to the back of the orange 101 car. Woodsy, Simon Woods. We do like Woody. He's one of the guys who we do see on the forum quite a lot in the BRSCC. That orange car, very famous. This is Dan O'Connor's one. Down the back straight we come though, in towards the Fogarty S's. Get a braking point. Try and brake that a little bit later if you can, but don't compromise your exit speed from here because you've got a long kind of uphill drag at first as it comes out the Fogarty S's, and then it kind of levels off as you come past the start finish line and then down towards Redgate. So you can see the cars in the background there. It starts uphill, then goes downhill and back up into Redgate. But Sam Smith and Matt Robinson have both got past Richard Collins. And where's Sam Smith going? A little bit too wide there. The stewards will be keeping an eye on that and lost the position to Matt Robinson as they go through Hollywood. A whole lot of tyres squealing in the background there. Let's hope Callum Edwards is still on the track as these guys battling for second. Smith sideways there. You can see the car was sideways, backing it into the corner almost. I don't know if that was meant or if it was just a very good bit of car control we were seeing from Sam Smith there in the number 31 pink car with the black bonnet. Through McLean's. They've already dropped the number 5 car of Richard Collins quite quickly, I should say. And Collins will be trying as hard as he possibly can to stay involved in this, because this is the battle for second, third and fourth, and if he wants to have anything to do with getting on a podium, he's got to hang in, Richard Collins, with the back of Sam Smith as we come down once again towards the Fogarty S's. Bit of a lock up there for Collins as he come in. Good move from Robinson to get through. Smith equally as smooth and in control. By we go to click off yet another lap. Down towards Redgate, flashing through number 1, 2, 3. We just got a glimpse of him. That's Callum Edwards still leading the way, putting in some pretty good lap times as well. Callum's best so far is a 1:28.6, and it's not too bad. The fastest lap of the race actually is Matt Robinson, with a 1:27.8, so he's still the man to beat, still the quickest man out here. Matt Robinson in your screen now, ahead of Sam Smith and Richard Collins down through the old hairpin. Oh, Sam Smith dicing with it now, turning in with the car a little bit loose at the back and using those curbs to get a little bit of grip. Brave man here at Donington today, getting towards the all-important end of the championship now, and this is where you've got to think about the results. Maybe race wins aren't the be-all and end-all unless you're in with some sort of championship position, but you've just got to get some points on the board. As once again the little MX-5s get driven within an inch of their life by everybody who drives them, and the drivers always getting out of these cars with huge smiles on their face, whether they're in the B group or in the A group. You can always guarantee these guys are getting out extremely happy. Once again, Callum Edwards been and gone through the Fogarty S's there. Then Robinson, Smith, Collins, as quick as you can see, all coming through, all nice and neat and tidy that time. Nobody cutting any corners or taking too many liberties with the grass. Down they come towards Redgate. Look at this in the background, 3 wide, out of the Fogarty S's and across the start finishing. Is that Adam Craig on the inside? It is. Adam Craig alongside Woodsy, Simon Woodsy. This is going to be extremely close. Adam Craig's managed to get both of those guys coming down that Redgate drive towards Redgate. Very impressive. Tony Liversidge right in the middle of that as well. 10 out of 10 for this comeback drive, because remember, Adam Craig got to probably round about here and just kept on turning left there when everybody else started to go back to the right here for the old hairpin. So Adam Craig on a huge comeback drive. He's cut through this pack very, very quickly, including Jake Simpson at the back there, who's giving Tony Liversidge something to think about now. And look how quickly Adam Craig has pulled away. Craig really with the bit between his teeth now as he comes through McLean's. A sideways Simpson there. Up towards Coppice, turn it in, get on the gas very quickly if you can. It's a blind entry as well, it's a blind apex. You can't see it until you're actually on it, and then you've got to already be thinking about the exit the corner and let the car use all the road as it goes through and down the once again Donington back straight towards the Fogarty S's. Through goes Killer Kinghorn, then Craig, then Simon Woods. Woody gets a good exit from the corner that time, then it's Tony Liversidge, and Tony now starting to drop back a bit from Woody, and I'm just wondering if he's got maybe more pressing things in his mind with the car behind him. Richard Collins has got back past Sam Smith, so has something happened off camera that we haven't seen? Well, obviously it has, because there's been a position change. Down through the corner curves we come. There's a bit of smoke coming out of Sam Smith's car. Now, is that just tyre rub? But the car does seem to have been a little bit loose at the back everywhere, especially as we see him turning in through the old hairpin area. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that if we can. Sam Smith, Richard Collins together here on track. Richard Collins getting a little bit greedy with the amount of exit. He's using a bit of curb there and a bit of the Donington grass. And up these three come towards the iconic Coppice. Down the back straight, this is where the slipstream effect can really take place. He tucks in the back, Sam Smith right in the back of Collins. Is he going to manage to get a manoeuvre in towards the Fogarty S's as we focus on John Killer Kinghorn coming down the straight? Adam Craig and Woody have already dropped Liversidge. You can see the blue car is now out of shot here, so it's between these two guys battling just now, and that's a battle for 7th place as they come through the Fogarty S's. And Woody was a little bit lame there, a little bit slow. Or was Adam Craig just superhuman, carrying a good bit of speed through there? Number 74, Nick Dougal, has got past. What a cracking manoeuvre that was. He's got past Sam Smith, and Sam Smith now starting to look a little bit ragged. We've got to say the car was a little bit loose, but now it's just starting to look a little bit ragged, not holding a good corner line. He's starting to run out and use a more exit. Now can Dougal go through the crater curves here? Can he make a move at the old hairpin? He was looking at it, but Richard Collins saw it coming, and once again the sideways Sam Smith in the background. Oh, it's a bit of a moment there for Dougal. Nick Dougal getting himself in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Did he have to have a lift? Does that let Sam Smith get alongside him? Yes. Through the Schwartz curve, Smith goes back round, takes the place as they come up towards. Oh no, he hasn't. Camera angle gave that one away there. It looked like Sam Smith had got it, but Dougal holds him off, and Richard Collins all the time will be thinking, this is good news for me, because these guys battle away behind me, and hopefully they'll take a little bit of pressure off me. As down the straight once again they come now. Sam Smith really needs to do something here. Lost a good position to Dougal there. Now can Dougal do the same and get past? Can he get past Richard Collins? That is the thing we're asking you. Callum Edwards still leads the race, number 123, ahead of number 69, Matt Robinson. And as we look further back down, 3rd place right now is Sam Smith. They're just about to go past a lapped car. Sam Smith, Nick Dougal and Richard Collins all tied together. About a second between the pair of them as the guys all come through Redgate there, as you can hear. Look at this. So Matt Robinson has reeled in Callum Edwards, and Callum Edwards will be thinking, where did you come from? I was convinced I saw you crashing into Fowles, Clive, at the Fogarty chicane in my rearview mirror, but look at the speed that Robinson's carried through Schwarzkopf, under Stacky's bid up towards McLean's. He looks like he's taken the lead, and he has this time. Take the same kind of camera view we were getting there. So now Matt Robinson hits the front. Callum Edwards in 2nd place, defending as they come up towards Coppice. So is that going to make him slow down the back straight? This could be a chance for Callum Edwards to tuck right in. He's on the grass over the apex as they come out of Coppice, and he's already alongside, so he's on the favourable inside line as they get down towards the Fogarty S's, absolutely side by side. This is what it's all about. Who's going to break latest? It's a little bit Callum Edwards' time here. Callum gets back to the inside, doesn't run wide mid-corner and compromises the exit speed as Matt Robinson tries as hard as he possibly can. As they come over the line this time, there is absolutely nothing between them. Once again, side by side up towards Redgate, past the mechanics with the encouraging arms. Once again, Edwards still holds his line. He turns in very quickly. Can he hold the line through the corner? Yes, he can. Robinson will be thinking about another attack, overtaking if he can, another manoeuvre. Now where will he do it? Because he's trying to go round through the outside of Hollywood here. He's back on the inside for Queen of Curves. Edwards gives him a little bit of racing room. That's very nice of him. Back down towards Old Hairpin. Edwards tries to cut back on the outside and Robinson has a moment. He runs a little bit wide and he's onto the grass. He manages to hold it, but that's basically the race shot for Matt Robinson now. He's lost so much momentum and a little bit of time, and you can see him, he's dropping back all the time. Fantastic bit of driving from these two drivers. They're swapping positions through Hollywood on the Queen of Curves series of bends. Not something you see happening every time, and then just the slightest of wobbles as Matt Robinson turned into the Old Hairpin. The back of the car got that little bit flighty on the direction change, and that cost him dearly. A second wobble ensued, and over the curb and onto the grass he went. Still safe and secure in second place, but it's all about number 1, 2, 3, Callum Edwards, as we come down towards the Fogarty S's. Gets it turned in. It's good. It's a good effort from Matt Robinson. It's good, but it's just not good enough. Because out of the Fogarty S's and crossing the line to take the checkered flag, it is Callum Edwards, number 1, 2, 3, with a fantastic victory from number 69, Matt Robinson. As we look back in third place, who is it going to be? It's 3 wide as we see the timing screen updates. Right now it's Sam Smith who comes home in third position, with Richard Collins alongside him and Killer Kinghorn also. So a fantastic end to the race for those guys. But Callum Edwards, he was hunted down at the front. He kept his cool, he kept his head. Matt Robinson caught him. And him and the battle come for the final round. It was all about Edwards, who managed to hold off Robinson. So let's have a look at the top 10 places. Callum Edwards, number 1, 2, 3 wins from Matt Robinson and Sam Smith, with Richard Collins and Killer Kinghorn rounding out your top 5. Woodsy was 6 with Adam Craig, Tony Liversidge, Jake Simpson and Paul Tucker. In the Blendini car in 10th position.
Callum, well, looked like you had it in the bag. Pretty comfortable lead up until the last few laps. What was going through your mind when he was catching you?
Well, I couldn't believe he made up that much time, to be honest. He was 8/10 quicker than me, so he was really flying around. And I had quite a decent cushion after Clive spun on the second lap, so I thought I had it in the bag, to be honest. And then I saw Matt in my mirrors getting bigger and bigger, and I realised I had a race back on, so it was good.
Were you just pushing harder lap by lap, were you?
Yeah, I was doing my best. It wasn't enough to keep him behind me, so I knew he was going to catch me before the end, and then I just knew I couldn't take the pressure off and let him get away, because he was going quicker, so he would have pulled away from me if I'd done that. I nearly won a race at Cadwell, and he was the one that took it off me, so I wanted to get him back this time.
And we can feel a few drops of rain coming down now. How are you feeling about the next race?
I'd quite like some rain. I think it'll make it quite fun, and I'll see how it goes. It equals people out a bit in the rain, so maybe I can push ahead a bit if it does.
All right, well, congratulations. We hope to speak to you later on.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Cheers, now.
So welcome back. Let's have a look at race number 1A. Tom Roach is on pole from James Blake Baldwin, with Brett Smith and Charlie Charman the second row of the grid. Big hitters at the front. Daniel Rogers and Alan Henderson keep their eyes on the number 90 car, with Simon Goddard and Alex Preston. Martin Tolley is alongside Gary Hufford. Keep your eyes on Huffy number 45. JJ Clements, Jonathan JJ Clements and Jade Edwards, with Simon Baldwin and Stephen Craggs in 14th. Dan O'Connor, great to see him back after his misdemeanours at Anglesey, alongside Paul Bishop, with Wayne Lamonte, Will Blackwell Chambers and William Phillips rounding out the entire grid. So here we go. We're about to go racing straight away, and it's off at the start, and away they go, and it looks like Roche who has got the jump, and somebody driving down the grass. I think that could be Dan O'Connor. You better be on the black stuff, Dan. As good as that may have been an idea at the time, you've lost a little bit of time there, but Roche leads in towards Redgate for the first time of asking as we go on board with Charlie Charman just now. Charlie Charman heads off down through Crater Curves. Just listen to this. Love it, absolutely love it. And down he goes in towards the Old Hairpin and on his way towards Starkey's Bridge and Swans Curve. Great bit on board footage from Charlie Charman there. But at the front, look at these guys all glued together. Over the course of qualifying, lots of laps again in this group also getting disallowed. Roach, James Blake Baldwin, Brett Smith all having laps disallowed. Fastest laps are exceeding track limits. Give a driver an inch and they will take an absolute mile. Roach comes through and he's ahead of Blake Baldwin just now. Charlie Charman's got ideas all over the back of Brett Smith as we go on board with Jonathan JJ Clements. Lovely set of gloves for Jonathan JJ Clements there. JJ, sponsored by Magma people. And keep your eyes on this man because this is a circuit which he favours and he's right up to the boot lid of Alex Preston. And Preston will know just how quick Clements is around here. As we head over the start line to finish one lap here, everybody streaming down. Wipers on further back down now. A little bit of rain happening here. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on people maybe leaping off the circuit at any moment, but through Redgate they come. Lots of sideways action. There's Henderson, drops a wheel off as well, and oh dearie dear, further back down. Well, you want to be in the black stuff, guys. People in all sorts of bother there. Oh, look at this Wayne Lamonti. There's a lot of rain falling as they come through Hollywood and down in towards. Oh, there's a big sideways moment in front of him. Lamonti, was there a little bit of lift off oversteer by Wayne? Unfortunately, oh, and he destroys the marker board as well, going in towards the Old Hairpin. Unlucky Wayne, and there's quite a few cars going off there. He's not the only one. He's been joined by friends. Will Blackwell Chambers is off there, and there's Wayne just about to get back on the circuit, and oh dear, unfortunate for Wayne, he has got that little Mazda stuck, and that's not in a very nice position, to tell you the truth. That's right at the side of the track. So will we have a safety car? What will the marshals be able to do? Not the longest lap here at Donington when we use the national circuit. As we go back on board with Charlie Charman, let's see just exactly what race direction chooses to do here. Tricky wet weather conditions as well, and Wayne just got caught out, I think, with the car in front of him. But look at that there, as we come in towards the Fogarty S's. Charman was having a look at Blake Baldwin there actually, and Brett Smith's got ahead of him as they come through onto the main straight. A little bit of sideways action from these guys, and we cross the line. Roach from Brett Smith, from Blake Baldwin, but Blake Baldwin's looking up the inside of Brett Smith as they get towards Redgate. Has he got the manoeuvre? Yes, it looks. No, he hasn't. He slots back in behind them, and it's wipers a go-go. Everybody's trying to go around the outside, the unconventional line through here to try and get the grip. Henderson has got yellow flags. Obviously that is for the Wayne Lamonti, who's Monty is thoroughly beached, and he doesn't have a deck chair and a brolly down at the Old Hairpin. No, he doesn't, unfortunately. These guys still kind of on the button, sliding through there, and there's an enormous great telehandler at the side of the track, so I do hope that they respect the yellow flags and everybody backs off there, because that gave me a little bit of fright in the commentary box here, and I wasn't Tom Roach coming through Carina Curve sideways. So they'll get Wayne's car dragged out off the road. The marshals are in attendance, and that's Wayne now out the gravel. He should hopefully get that thing fired up and get back onto the track, as we're doing a bit of a live snatch here at Donington. Great to see the marshals, the Orange Army, at their best, doing their work. Meanwhile, back at Coppice Corner, Tom Roach leads the way from Brett Smith. Charlie Charman in third place. Where is James Blake Baldwin? What has happened to James Blake Baldwin? Because he's behind Goddard, he's behind Preston. Is that him there? Something has happened off camera that he missed, or I missed. So down the back straight comes Charlie Charman, gets himself set onto the brake, down one gear, nice and smoothly off the clutch so he doesn't lock the back wheels up. But look at this, a change at the front. Brett Smith has got to the front and he's passed Tom Roach. So what a cracking drive from Brett Smith. We said that he likes this circuit, as does JJ Clements, and he has come through past Blake Baldwin and past Roachy. Roach has a little look, as we see from Charlie Charman's onboard camera there, but it's not to be. Further back down, is this the comeback drive now from James Blake Baldwin? No, that's JJ Clements in fact. JJ Clements in the Magma People car. He's going up the inside of Alex Preston, and can he make that one stick? Not quite, not 100%, as the leaders are side by side through Hollywood. Roach goes back towards the sharp end through Craner Curves. There was possibly a bit of a think by Brett Smith about the overtaking move at the Old Hairpin, but it was not to be. As Simon Goddard come through very sideways there, Alex Preston rammed up behind him in the yellow car, and then JJ Clements. What a good drive with JJ Clements. Remember, JJ actually won the very first race we saw at Rockingham. First time out, he had his novice cross on, then from memory served me correctly, and we saw a yellow flag there actually, a waved yellow flag at the Swanch curve. So that would make you think there's something possibly in the gravel where we have just been through. But once again, we're back on board with Clements, and watch him turn in here. JJ nice and smooth, coaxes the car at the corner. You don't want to be getting too much of that sideways opposite lock as Preston and JJ Clements are both getting, but Clements has got a bit more traction on the inside, and that lets him. Has he got past? A wee look to the left? Is he going to look again? There you go, love that. Checking his mirror, and I think he's passed Alex Preston. And a good overtaking manoeuvre. Yes, he has. Good overtaking manoeuvre by JJ Clements. Next man on the hit list for Clements. JJ is going to be having a shot at Simon Goddard in the number 46 car. Having said that, he'll be having a shot at the Donington gravel trap if he does any more of that. Drifting through there. He wants to be going to see the BDC if he's going to be doing any of that. Meanwhile, back at the front through Redgate Corner, Tom Roach leads the way from Brett Smith, but it's very, very tippy-toey stuff now, isn't it? You can see the track has kind of gone through that changing process. It's kind of silvery shiny now. That's when it's at its absolute worst. And down we come here through the Craner curves in towards the Old Hairpin. Just holding my breath there as Tom Roach comes through. Tom Roach drives on the absolute limit, as all these guys are, but Roach seems to just get the most out of his car when it counts, and that's what you've got. That's what you've got to really keep your eyes on. Up towards McLean's. Roach from Smith. Brett Smith really has come alive since round about Snetterton, Cadwell Park, Snetterton time, when he started getting a good couple of finishes under his belt, and just the confidence has been growing all through the year with Brett Smith. Brands Hatch last meeting out was a very, very good points haul for him. And down the back straight here at Donington, down the main street, you can see the back straight at Donington heading towards the Fogarty S's. Roach still leads the way. The fastest lap of the race so far is in the hands of Tom Roach. Having said that, Brett Smith is just a whisker behind him. In fact, less than a whisker, he's half a whisker behind him. And a very quiet Charlie Charman in third place. Now there's something we don't see very often. A quiet Charlie Charman, there he is, white car. Red stripe over the front of it. The complete opposite to the 46 car of Goddard, which is following him. Wipers on flat out, and yeah, Charlie normally in the middle of all sorts of action. He's very reserved today, which he'll possibly be happy about. He'll take any podium spot he can, but we're once again on board with JJ Clements. JJ comes through Hollywood, takes a big intake of breath, tries to just kiss that curb on your right hand side, then get back across towards the left apex curb. Car goes light, you can see him catching it very well, especially when it's wet. And then brake for the Old Hairpin. Don't go in too hot, don't run out of road on the exit. Watch not use too much curb, but it'll fire you back across the track violently into that tyre barrier on the inside there. Oh, speaking of violent, that's Gary Hufford. Unfortunately, Gary, you're going to need that telescopic handler that we saw dealing with Monty a little bit earlier on. Gary very much stuck in the deepest part of the gravel trap he could find there. Meanwhile, Preston putting Simon Goddard under increasing pressure here as JJ Clements gives us his eye view of it. Now there's a telling move. He clicks the wipers off, so the rain must have what you're seeing is coming out from the wiper, but the rain must have almost come to a halt if he's happy enough to click his wipers off. He turns in, just kisses the big sausage curb there. Same again there, a little bit of mid-corner sliding, but nice and smooth through the actual Fogarty S's. So JJ Clements driving an absolute stormer, to tell you the truth. And yes, there we thought that was going to happen. Gary Hufford is now under the guidance of the marshals at the Old Hairpin there, and he will be getting pulled to safety, one would believe. The number 9 car, Jade Edwards, going through Redgate there. Once again, the flashing yellow lights and the waved yellow flags at the top of Hollywood. And the drivers all now have had a visual on that telescopic handler which is in the gravel trap. doing the live snatch here, pulling Gary Hufford to safety. So strictly no overtaking under yellow flags, and that's James Blake Baldwin. Now, he's quite far back, isn't he? James Blake Baldwin just not having the best of races here. Normally right at the front, and somebody else has decided they've had enough, and are they actually heading for retirement there? Has that been a spin? Now, who was that? Was that Simon Baldwin actually? Was that the blue 48 car of Simon Baldwin? I think it possibly was. So Simon Baldwin retires halfway down Craner Curves. And look at this, Jade Edwards right under the bootlid of James Blake Baldwin as they come down the main straight here at Donington. Just having a quick look at the timing screens there. Fastest lap of the race now has gone to Brett Smith. So Brett Smith, fastest lap of the race. And he's at a 1:26.5, so cracking lap. There goes Charlie Charman, there goes Simon Goddard, and he's got Alex Preston right behind him. And the yellow flags and yellow lights switched off and the flags withdrawn at the top of Hollywood, so that means that we're all clear at the bottom of the Craner Curves now, into the old hairpin, and you can see the guys back on absolute full attack now. As we go on board once again with JJ, nice and smooth there as he comes underneath Starcase Bridge there, on through the Schwantz curve. Quick flick of the wipers, nothing too much to worry about. You're climbing all the way up towards McLean's here. The car tries to settle out at the top before you turn in. There used to be a really bad bump right at the apex of that corner, but it's been fixed over the years. Then they climb back up again towards possibly one of the highest points of the circuit. This is Coppice. If you look away in the background, you can see the Craner Curve area. But the driver's not concentrating on that just now. Alex Preston is concentrating on Simon Goddard, that's for sure. And he's also concentrating on trying to get past him. Track looks like it's actually starting to dry out. Marshall's still standing with hoods up, but wipers switched off race cars. So we'll go with that as being a little nod towards the commentary team here that the rain has stopped. The rain has ceased falling right now here at Donington Park. Clicking off another lap. That's your third place man, that's Charlie Charman, the white car. Goddard, Preston, glued together. JJ Clements, just a car length behind them. As once again they turn in through the top of Hollywood. Make the transition back through the Craner Curves. The car really loads up there. So you need a good bit of stability in the car, and then try and get back through the old hairpin without anything going wrong. Roach still leads the way from Brett Smith at the front. Not seeing the greatest amount of TV time they are. Not seeing the greatest amount of TV time, but that's because they've got an absolutely stonker of a battle here. And JJ Clements, JJ's going to have a go at Preston as they come up towards Coppice, but is he maybe just going to relax that a little bit? Yes, he does, because it's not really the best place to make an overtaking mover, and he didn't have much of an overlap, as you see the next battle coming through as well. So JJ's maybe spotted these three cars, which are even closer together than the three in front of Goddard, Preston and himself. On we go through the Fogarty-S's. Goddard, Preston, Clements. As we look back further down, another one, another mechanic waving on from the side there, and that's James Blake Baldwin now, and he's got Daniel Rogers right tucked in behind him. Daniel Rogers has brought Jade Edwards into this one as well, so there's about to be a 6-car train which is going to completely close this midfield battle up. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Down through, oh, a little bit of tyre smoke there as Clements had a look towards the inside. Jade Edwards still with the wipers on. The only one in this 6-car trio really with the wipers on. Daniel Rogers, great to see Daniel as well. Really first come onto the scene at Anglesey. But through we come. Meanwhile, here's your leader, Tom Roach, starting just to stretch away that little bit at the front from Brett Smith, the blue car there. variation in lines as we can see them going through Coppice Corner, and JJ with a little bit of a yank at the steering wheel to get that number 88 blue MX-5, the Magma People car, turned in pretty quickly there, looking in his rearview mirror. So that must mean that there's an incoming James Blake Baldwin. Well, he's not really incoming yet, but excuse me, if he keeps looking in his mirror like that, he certainly will get that car coming at a whole rate of knots. Through the cars all come through the Fogarty S's. These three seem to be working together pretty well as they head down towards Redgate. Simon Goddard holding off the very young, hard charging Alex Preston. And then we've got JJ just behind them. We haven't really talked much about Charlie Charman because he hasn't had much TV time. The number 42 Blink Motorsport car, which you just saw flash out of sight there, and once again Charlie Charman is normally right in the middle of this, where Alex Preston would have a white car glued to his tail, or Simon Goddard would have him glued to his tail, but he managed to get a good break at the start, and he's just used his head when the weather conditions turned against all the drivers as Preston goes up the inside of Goddard. Good manoeuvre, and look at Blake Baldwin, that's obviously made them a little bit slow. They're 2x2 up towards Coppice. This can only go horribly wrong as Goddard holds the position. Blake Baldwin tries to go around the outside of Preston. Is Preston going to allow that to happen, or is he going to show them the edge of the track? He's a very, very gentleman driver, is Alex Preston. And James Blake Baldwin has just gone past two people in one corner there. GG will be wondering what happened there, and won't be 100% happy with that, as up the inside of him has somebody else has had a go at him now for the back down. That's Daniel Rogers as well. So JD has dropped 3 positions in the last 2 corners, and James Blake Baldwin is on an absolute mission. Look at this, he's now going to pull out and pass Simon Goddard as he hits the brakes at Redgate. So obviously James Blake Baldwin, his car has not been working very well in the wet conditions, and as soon as that car started to dry, well, look at this, he is right bang back on the pace, and the man that's going to have to watch out is that 42 white car of Charlie Charman, because you're guaranteed that James Blake Baldwin is carrying huge amounts of speed as they come down through the kind of curves into the Old Hairpin. So 4th for Blake Baldwin, 5th for Goddard, 6th for Preston in the yellow car now. 7th sees Daniel Rogers, 8th for JJ, and 9th for Jade Edwards. It's all changed completely in that last lap, very, very quickly also. As we watch the guys go up and in towards Coppice now, I can guarantee you Charlie Charman started to look at his mirror and he's starting to squirm a little bit in that car. Got to hold your head here, Charlie. Make sure you don't make any mistakes, don't miss any gears, get down that straight. There's not long in this race left, but there's possibly just long enough for James Blake Baldwin. Look how quickly he has brought these guys up towards the back of Charlie Charman, and it's all completely fallen apart for Charman as we come back up towards the front. Number 17 is William Phillips, and he's almost about to go a lap down there, because there's your leader there, the green car of Tom Roach, and he's got Brett Smith in behind him, but the battle's well and truly on for 3rd position as we watch William Phillips come down through the crane of curves, number 17. Let's look back up to the top of the crane of curves through Hollywood. Look at this, absolutely together now, with possibly a little bit of rain in the air. James Blake Baldwin almost pushing Charlie Charman down. He's going to have a go at the inside of the Old Hairpin, and it's a classic Donington manoeuvre up the inside of the Old Hairpin. Don't compromise your speed, and through he goes. Charlie Charman has just lost his podium step, and he will not be happy, because look at the inside. Teammate Simon Goddard comes past him in the 46 car. Can Charman get back up the inside? Yes, he can. He turns in, but with these two battling, that's just going to be giving Blake Baldwin a little bit of space as Charman still alongside him. Simon Goddard, turning oversteer there. Charman copes with that very well, and we can see in the rearview mirror now that Goddard's just slotted in behind him, discretion being the better part. But look at this, flying MX-5 formation as we come down the back straight towards the last lap, and it is a win for Tom Roach. It's 2nd place for Brett Smith, but we need to look behind them, because through the corner James Blake Baldwin is going to get 3rd position. Simon Goddard comes home in 4th with Daniel Rogers, and poor old Charlie Charman on that, the last lap goes from 3rd to 6th. Well, he'll be absolutely destroyed with that one. What looked like to be a perfect podium in the making turned out to be a 6th place for Charman. So Tom Roach is your winner, with Brett Smith and James Blake Baldwin rounding out the podium, with Henderson and Rogers your top 5. Charlie Charman unlucky with 6th place. JJ comes home in 7th, with Alex Preston, Jade Edwards and Alan Henderson down in 10th place.
Right, Tom, firstly, congratulations. It was quite tight at some points, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's certainly very tight to start with. It started raining halfway around the first lap, and then it's always tricky knowing what speed to go into the corner, and your sort of first one there, and Brett was going really well, and he seemed to have good grip. He passed me a couple of times. I managed to get him back again. It was a good fight. I think I just realised that it dried up just a little bit quicker than he did. I just managed to get a little bit of a break, but as soon as Brett realised it had dried up, he was right up there, and I saw James came back as well, so I'm sure it's going to be real close for the next race.
I know, and as you speak, the rain's coming down. Are you looking forward to it?
Definitely. I hope it just either rains or is dry. It's horrible when it's in between and you're never sure what settings to go on, and so if it's going to rain, I hope it tips it down and let's have a good wet race.
Yeah, and from a spectator's point of view, they're incredible to watch in the wet because they're sideways everywhere.
Yeah, it's not the idea. You're not supposed to be sideways everywhere, but yeah, but they often are.
All right, well, congratulations, and we might be speaking to you later.
Thanks.
So welcome to race number 2B here, and on pole position Paul Bishop from William Phillips, with Simon Baldwin and Gary Hufford on the second row of the grid. Monty's on the 3rd row of the grid in P5 alongside Simon Woods. Now let's see if Monty can get a better race than he did in the first one. Then Adam Craig and Liversedge with Simpson and Tucker 9th and 10th. Nick Dougal and Matthew Tasker in 12th, with Chris Hart and Clive Powells in 14th. Clive had a bit of a spin in the first race. Dale Whiteman and Kevin Brent with Nick Ledoyen and David Hart in 17th and 18th, and Ian Prescott all the way at the back in 19th on his lonesome. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be there for very long, and we're already racing here again at Donington, and down towards Redgate we go on board with Monty, and he's making a bit for the lead here. He goes between those two cars and wow, powers his way to the front. Cracking bit of overtaking. Very tentative as he turns in, a little bit of mid-corner oversteer there, but collects that on the exit and powers away towards Hollywood with the best view in motorsport in front of him as you come down Craner Curves with a clear track. The whole field following him through the Craner Curve section as they head down towards the old hairpin. A very wet, damp, slippery Donington Park for the guys in the MX-5s to contend with here. But as far as we've got to the old hairpin, everybody's still on the track and in one piece, which is good to see as they go under Swans Curve, round Starkey's up towards McLean's. At the front it's Monty, Wayne Lamonte in the number 7 car. Nice big Union Jack down the side of it. As we see here, a bit of a disaster in the first race when he decided to have a spin going in towards the old hairpin, got himself very, very stuck in the gravel trap. Managed to get taken to safety with a telescopic handler and actually continued on in the race, but really that did ruin the race for Wayne. So he's at the front in this one and he will be happy. Number 188 in there as well, Jake Simpson. We'll keep your eyes on Jake. He was a bit of a hot shoe in the first race, to tell you the truth. First year of racing as well, the white car going down the back straight just behind Simon Woods just now in the orange car. He's making a little look up the inside, but Simon covers that further ahead. There's a little bit of position changing. Keep your eyes on anybody using a little bit too much off the curbs here at the chicane, the Fogger TS's. The big sausage curbs have been put in and we're almost about to go 3 abreast down the main straight. Clive Powell's in that battle as well. Simpson against the pit wall, goes past Simon Woods, and Clive's about to follow him through as they come through Redgate. Trying to source out where the grip is as they come through Redgate and head on towards Hollywood. Very windy as you can see here, the trees moving about quite a lot, gusting, quite strong gusts of wind. Won't have too much of an effect on these little MX-5s, but as they come down through kind of curves, they're a little bit flighty anyway. These guys have to be absolutely spot on. Be interesting to pick up with a few of the other drivers further down the field. Chris Hart, one of the guys. Chris Hart, number 22. Former bike racer Chris Hart, and great to see him turning his hand towards the MX-5 championship. A man in his later years, shall we say. We won't give away Chris's age, but great to see he's getting on and having a good time in the MX-5s, and he's in the kind of two-tone blue, number 22, and we'll pick up with him hopefully later on. But we're watching Simpson right now, and Jake Simpson really is putting on a good show here at Donington Park. He's starting to pull away from Clive. Simon Woods as well. You couldn't expect Woody to stay a little bit further up the sharp end here. But look at Simpson on the brakes as they're coming towards the Fogarty S's. Just out of our sight. He's actually gone round the outside there. What a cracking manoeuvre, just out of our sight. He went round the outside, and Woody, he's going to have to watch because he's got Nick Dougal right behind him there. Dougal right up underneath the rear bumper on that orange MX-5. So close we can barely see him as they power down towards Redgate. Look up the inside for Clive Pills, and he gets in it. It's a good move, side by side through Redgate. Paul Bishop gives him a little bit of racing room there, and it's good to see that Paul knew he was there. Paul probably still a little bit shocked after that move with Simpson as they go towards the Fogarty S's when he went round the outside of him on the brakes. Clive trying very hard as he comes through kind of curves in towards the Old Hairpin. He looks like he's running a little bit wide. He's off the dry line onto the wet part, and that gives Bishop a little chance to come back as they come under Starkey's Bridge and round Swanskirk. And look at Dougal going up the inside. Simon Woods is involved in that as well, and these four cars power up towards McLean's. After running wide at Old Hairpin, Clive's just managed to hold that position. You could just see him as he ran into the corner a little bit too hot. He put a couple of wheels onto the wet part of the track, left the dry line, and that's just going to force him to start running wide. Slight lack of adhesion there, but through Coppice they come. Long opening corner for you, and then down the straight. Woody's got a good run through there on Bishop. Simon Woods pulls towards the inside and looks to try and make that position stick by the time they get to the brakes again, though he's having to try and overtake on the damper part of the circuit. There's a widening drying line all the time as Nick Dougal gets very sideways in corner entry there. And down they go to complete another lap here at Donington. You can actually hear the wind in the microphone in their camera gusting away. The mechanics once again giving them the wave on from the pit wall. But let's not forget, at the front, the man that was in the gravel trap in the first race, Wayne Lamonte. Monte's he's pulling away at the front here, and he's opening up a nice commanding lead in the number 7 red MX-5. So much so that, unfortunately, Monte's not getting much in the way of TV time right now. As we keep our eyes on this battle coming down in towards the Old Hairpin again. Let's see if Clive can stay on the perfect racing line this time. Yes, he can. Everybody does. The Vortex sponsored 101 car, the orange car of Simon Woods, makes his way up towards McLean's, and he's got number 74. And that's Nick Dougal all over the back of him and up the inside of him and sideways, and trying to make a pass here, but that sideways probably just robbed him of enough speed mid-corner. Compromises X as they come up towards Coppice, turning in the battle these two are having, just dropping them off the back now. Did we hear something in the gravel? We did! Somebody in the gravel. Simpson, Jake Simpson drops it as he comes through Coppice. That happened quite early on in the corner. We could hear something happening in the ears of the earpieces here, so a bit of a shame for Jake. Into the gravel, facing the wrong way, and that thing looked properly stuck. So that drops him, it's going to drop him right down. If he gets going from there, it's going to be some fantastic work by the Marshall crew at Coppice. Marshals, you can see way in the background running round the outside of the perimeter tyre wall to see if they can assist. But what a disaster for Jake Simpson, number 188, new driver to the series and a new driver to racing as well. So as we pick up further down, there's Paul Tucker coming towards us in the green car. Then Chris Hart, we talked about Chris, didn't we? Number 22, the former bike racer, finds it a lot better to race the MX-5. He can't get high-sided out of an MX-5. He can stay safe inside his roll cage. Number 58 goes through our shot there. That's Dale Whiteman, the red and white car. And he's getting chased quite hard as they go down through Hollywood. Again, you can see the wind gusting in the trees quite fiercely in the background. Wondering if we're possibly going to see some sort of safety car, or are the marshals managing to get Jake Simpson free from the gravel trap at Coppice. Red line, a Cardiff car goes through your screen there. Good to see a little bit of time with Dale Whiteman on the TV as we come back up towards McLean's. A couple of cars running a little bit wide there. Possible lock up on the way into the corner. And now back up to the corner where Jake Simpson will probably still be buried in the gravel trap. Yes, we can see him in the telescopic handler once again, on hand. Great work with the marshals here. The BRSCC bringing some of the best marshals in Britain and getting that car moved out of the way. And great bit of marshalling. We really do have the best marshals in the world in this country, and as a driver, very appreciative to everything that these guys do. Now let's pick back up with this. These two coming down through the Craner curves there. William Phillips getting a little bit sideways and energetic, getting chased very hard by Gary Hufford, another man who we saw disappear into the gravel at the bottom of Craner curves at the entry to the Old Hairpin Ring. Up the inside of Phillips goes Hufford, and he makes a good move through the Swans curve, and he's got that position done and dusted by the time they get to McLean's. Good move by Gary Hufford, number 45 there. Possible mistake from William Phillips just as he went through the Old Hairpin and compromised him a little bit, but you can see the caution flags, the waved yellow flags have now been brought in from Coppice corner there, which lets the guys attack that at absolutely full tilt. Down the back straight, William Phillips getting a good toll from the back of Gary Hufford here. Is he going to have a little pop up the inside on the brakes? There's maybe a half think about it there, but then he thought better of it. Hufford was a little bit quick going in, a little bit too quick, and he's lost a bit of time when he exits the corner. You can see just how close William Phillips is to the back of that car coming down the start finish straight. Now he pops out towards the inside, that's going to favour him for Redgate, but he's popped out a bit early and he's lost a little bit of time there. Now was that just down to pure engine power, or is that something to do with the wind? Great shame for William Phillips there, but Gary Hufford will be very happy with that one as he goes through Redgate, heads towards Hollywood, and takes another big sharp intake of breath, big deep intake of breath before he goes in through the Craner curves here. This is where the cars go a little bit light just there as he kiss that curb, and that's a very, very quick corner in anything. And he's gone in too hot there. He drops a wheel over the curb onto the wet part, over the curb, back onto the grass at the bottom, and that allows William Phillips a nice easy overtake as he goes through there. Phillips was pressuring Hufford all the way down through Hollywood and Craner curves, and just unlucky for Gary, just puts a wheel on the curb, so the curbs are obviously still pretty slippy and holding a little bit of dampness, whereas the racing line, if you're on that, is actually dry. Wipers back on as well on Hufford now, so that's a good indication for us here in the commentary box that we're starting to get a little bit more moisture falling onto the racetrack, which will liven this race up. Once again looking at Phillips and Hufford down the back straight. Wipers a go-go on both of these cars. William Phillips picks a braking point. Gary Hufford tries to be just a little bit late. You can see the car dancing about on the brakes here, but he gets it turned into the corner, and he was very, very quick through the Fogarty S's here. That was number 45, Gary Hufford, as they come round to flick off another lap. A little bit of screeching in the background there as the cars go through Redgate that are ahead of us. That will be Wayne Lamonte, Monty leading the race, and Adam Craig will be further up the road. Adam in the white car with the yellow stripe across the front of the bumper. Quite an easy car to actually get a visual on, as William Phillips drops a wheel just over the edge of the curb there, and that, you've got to watch for that, because after that you've got grass and a little bit of mud there, and that's going to lose your traction. Now, role reversal, pressure from Hufford on Phillips as they come down through Craner curves into the Old Hairpin. Can Phillips hold it together here? Yes, he can. He turns in as a bit of oversteer on the way in, but he managed to get through the corner very well there. And you can see more moisture now falling on the camera lens also at the Old Hairpin. As we come back to Redgate, we can hear somebody screeching. That was a big moment for Paul Tucker there. And that's Chris Hart also running wide, and somebody else having a huge moment back to the inside, and they're all dancing, and round goes Hart. Thankfully, nobody's hit him. Very, very lucky was Chris Hart there, and that was one of the longest accidents we've seen in a long time, Chris. Well done. Picking back up with Phillips and Hufford. This seems to be a bit of a battle, and Phillips really struggling for traction as they come through Coppice down the back straight. They're now side by side. In fact, it looks like Hufford's already got the overlap. These cars getting extremely close, trying to psych each other out there, wing mirror to wing mirror as they come down the straight. Who's going to breathe first? Who's going to blink? Up the inside goes Gary Hufford. Good move. Phillips gets a good cut back, though. He's going to get good power out of this corner, and once again could possibly get an overlap down towards Redgate as we come round to click off another lap here. All eyes focused on this battle as they cross the line. Phillips tucked right into that rear quarter of Gary Hufford. Past the pits, onto the brakes, Redgate corner, past the lodge on your left hand side, and Phillips is going round the outside of Hufford. What a cracking move, what a cracking effort. Hufford gives him no room. There's a little side to side contact here. They're side by side as they go out of sight over the top of Hollywood. This is going to be brave stuff as we come to Crane of Curves. Hufford in the red car, Phillips in the white car. Phillips makes the move stick and gets that position back with a huge sideways slide through Crane of Curves. Down to the old hairpin, and he's sideways into it, and well held William Phillips, and that put Gary Hufford off. Hufford had to lift out the gas here, or he was going to drive straight into the door of William Phillips. Great bit of car control by William Phillips there, the newcomer to racing, and unfortunately that car control, though, he has paid the price for going too sideways, and that's let Gary Hufford back past him in his MX-5, the red 45 car. So things starting to liven up now with a little bit of moisture falling down. Very cold also here at Donington, and if anything, William Phillips looks like he's in all sorts of trouble now. Every time he turns the steering wheel of that car to go right, the back end wants to go the other way. So he's in all sorts of issues just now. And that's given a nice little bit of breathing space in this lap to Gary Hufford. So Monty still leading the way in the red number 7 car from the white number 29 of Adam Craig. Gary Hufford now into 3rd place, and William Phillips is in 4th as they cross the start-finish line. Behind William Phillips coming towards us now, number 18, that's Clive Powles. Good to see Clive after his first race kind of head-on contact at the Fogarty S's. Not the best way for anybody to finish a race. He did manage to get going from that, but there was a fair amount of damage to his car and also to Matt Robinson's car. There's Simon Woods in the orange car, Woody in the 101 car. Looking further back, Paul Tucker getting a little bit excited and using a little bit of grass as well as exit curb there. There's definitely not much traction out there once you get that far out, Paul, in the green car. And the field now pretty much strung out into groups of 2, as we can see an interesting group coming towards us as Chris Hart just leaves the pit lane, and he could possibly make that a group of 3. Number 169 goes through your shot there. That's David Hart. And is Chris Hart going to try and get involved in this battle? I'm pretty sure he is, and look at the weather conditions are really starting to deteriorate for us now. As we come through the Crane of Curves, Chris Hart's had one huge moment already. As we see somebody else, we can hear somebody else going off. We can't actually see them until it actually happens. That's Kevin Brent there, we could hear that in the background though. Kevin dropped that quite early going through the old hairpin. Thankfully managed to get going before anybody else collected him or decided to join him and have a little accident with him. And listen to the rain now on the microphone of our camera as we come through McLean's. Number 41, Kevin Brent will just be gathering his thoughts after that moment at the old hairpin as we come up towards Coppice. Remember, Wayne Lamonte is still way out in front and set the fastest lap in the race, on lap 6 actually, a 1:30.7. Oh, round goes Chris Hart again. Good effort, Chris. Just gets on the gas too quickly. Look at the computer screen for a minute, I was there telling you about Wayne Lamonte with his fastest lap. But Chris Hart loops it again at Coppice, but look at this as they come in towards the Fogarty S's. Number 169, David Hart, getting all sorts of pressure there. Manages to get through the corner pretty well there, but everybody now struggling for all sorts of grip. Kevin Brent as well, after we've just seen him throwing the car off the road at the old hairpin and crossing the line to click off another lap. Now is that next car, is that Jake Simpson in that battle? Has he managed to get that thing out the gravel trap as Brent goes up the inside of Hart? There's been quite a bit of contact at the back of that car as well. Now Jake Simpson's on a bit of a comeback drive here after being stranded in the gravel at Coppice in the number 188 car, as we focus on the number 169 car coming through the Crane of Curves. And now these guys just trying to survive these weather conditions for the last couple of laps. Not easy at all. They started a dry race. Well, actually, they started a little bit drier than this. Kind of dried up halfway through it with the drying line. As we see number 44 coming into view, nice and sideways, Paul Bishop there, and he's got Nick Dougal. Look at that for a beautiful bit of car control from these two guys as they come through and onto the back straight. Yes, brilliant. We like that, spinning up the rear end. And now side by side as Nick Dougal gets alongside number 44, Paul Bishop. Those guys both having a lot of fun there, going sideways, unfortunately not going forward, but Dougal's made the best out of that bit, and he's got past him at the Fogarty S's. And in comes Woody, the orange car, Simon Woods. He's fancying a little bit of this as well. And over these guys come to click off another lap here at Donington. Again, nice bit of encouragement from the pit wall as we come down towards Redgate. Dancing about on the brakes was the number 44 car of Paul Bishop there as he gets the car turned in. Behind Nick Dougal. Through Redgate they go and heading towards Hollywood and onto the Crater Curves. As we jump further round the lap, seeing guys coming down the back straight past the exhibition centre on your left hand side if you're in that car, onto the brakes. And are we picking up our race leader here? We've got number 58, that's Dale Whiteman, but the red car that's just coming through the Fogarty S's just now, that is going to be our race leader. That's Monty, Wayne Lamonti. Finally gets a little bit of TV time, and it's very, very much needed and due. The number 7 car, well, we saw him earlier on in the first heat. We keep mentioning this, I'm sorry Wayne, but this is a cracking drive. Blue flag comes out from the marshal's post to tell Dale Whiteman that the leader is passing you. The wave blue flag says the leader's actually passing you at that moment. And let's follow our leader for this lap as he comes down through Crater Curves. Nice and smooth, everything's in control. He's got about a 7-second lead on us, on everybody just now. Adam Craig, who we haven't seen at all in this race. Adam Craig in the white car, yellow stripe on the bumper. 7 seconds back of Monty. Up towards McLean's, climbing all the way through here. Used to be a really bad dip just at the apex here in the track, but that's been sorted out after many a resurfacing job here at Donington. And climbing up towards Coppice Corner, this is where we've seen everybody struggling with traction getting through here. He turns the car in, he's nice and smooth, nice and relaxed, doesn't need to be too keen. But then it's Monty, isn't it? So there's going to be a whole lot of right foot involved in that as he comes through that corner and down the back straight. As a racing driver, this is where you're really enjoying it. He's coming up towards the Fogarty S's. This has been an absolutely faultless ride, faultless drive from him all the way through. There's Adam Craig. Finally we get a little bit of Adam Craig time, the third car in the train there. As Wayne Lamonti comes through the Fogarty S's up towards a checker flag, and a very, very well deserved victory at Donington Park in extremely tricky trying conditions. In second place, Adam Craig, the white car, pulls out and passes the two tail enders. Good also drive for Adam Craig. And we're going to have Gary Hufford coming home in third place in the 45 car after a great battle he had with number 17, William Phillips. Monty happy with that one. A nice big wave out the cockpit of the car to the marshals. As we said, very tricky trying conditions, but 10 out of 10 for Wayne Lamonti. So let's have a look at the top 10 after that race at Donington Park. Monty wins from Adam Craig, and Gary Hufford rounds out the podium with William Phillips and Clive Powell's your top 5. Nick Dougal, Simon Woods, Tony Liversidge, Paul Tucker and David Hart comes home in 10th position.
I had a good first race, but had a spectacular spin on the first bend, which I'm sure your cameras have got.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's quite frightening, going backwards at 80 or 90 miles an hour, the car's coming right at me. I was lucky all the good guys managed to miss me and carried on. Finished about fourth from the last or something like that, because I lost so much time. But in the second race, I tried to be clever. We could see some rain clouds in the distance, but thought I could go out with dry tyres and the rain wouldn't hit. But it unfortunately hit halfway through the race, and I just was spinning and sliding and on completely dry settings and pulled off the track because I thought I was a nuisance. But yeah, it's really good fun. I mean, brilliant. I've had a new engine put in, didn't really get a proper chance to run it in, and it is pretty slow. So nowhere near as good as it was at Brands Hatch.
All right, so you're looking forward to Silverstone now? Eh?
Massively. Last time I raced there, I had a good result and some faster sectors and stuff, and I was really thrilled with that. I can't wait to get back there.
Or the pirouetting?
No pirouetting, you don't do any of that. Yeah. There's a lot more room at Silverstone, so you've got a chance to rescue, slides and stuff. Here, when it started raining, I've never known anything like it. Well, I know it's these things up here that cause all the aviation stuff to come down, fuel and that on the track. But when it rains, man, it's slippery.
All right, well, you look like a man who's enjoying himself anyway.
Yeah,
so thanks for speaking to us.
There's my car.
So, welcome back as we see race 2A now. Tom Roach on pole from Brett Smith with James Blake Baldwin and Simon Goddard alongside each other. Daniel Rogers, cracking race from him in the first one, as we saw a cracking race from Charlie Charman as well. JJ Clements and Alex Preston are 7th and 8th, with Jade Edwards and Alan Henderson in 10th. 11th for Martin Tolley and 12th for Dan O'Connor. And Will Blackwell Chambers is in 13th alongside Stephen Craggs. Callum Edwards and Matt Robinson are 15th and 16th, with the sideways Sam Smith in 17th and Richard Collins in 18th. Killer Kinghorn all the way back on the last row of the grid in 19th place, and we're already under the starters' orders and we're away at Donington Park for race 2A. The big guns in this race all power down towards Redgate Corner, and it's Tom Roach who cuts across the front and takes the lead in his green number 1 car. Can hold her breath to see if everybody gets through in one piece. A nice sigh of relief on the exit of Redgate as they all go through the top of Hollywood and towards the Crater Curves. Things just starting to settle themselves out. Look at the pace of these guys at the front, these 4 at the front, absolutely flying away. Charlie Charman a little bit sideways up the inside. Daniel Rogers goes past Alex Preston at the old hairpin. Good move, good forceful hard move there. And that's JJ Clements also trying to go round outside of somebody. I think it was Jade Edwards as they went under Starkey's Bridge, but it's Roach at the front with Brett Smith, James Blake Baldwin, and that's the number 46 car. And that's Simon Goddard who's got himself up there. Further back down, Sam Smith sideways, side by side with Callum Edwards, and Killer Kinghorn still at the back as we come through. And just listen to those tyres howling as we come through here. On board now with number 46 Simon Goddard. Let's just listen to this car as he goes down the back straight here. Jockeying for position ahead, that was Brett Smith who was having a look, but he looked like he was also defending from Blake Baldwin as they come through the Fogarty S's for the first time of asking. Out over the curbs, Roach with a car's length lead, and that's not comfortable in MX-5, that's by nowhere near enough. And look at these 3 in front all fanning out. Great pictures from Simon Goddard here as Brett Smith trying to go around the outside at Redgate, but that's going to open the door, the opportunity for James Blake Baldwin to come through as they go through Hollywood and down in towards the Kingdom Curves. He's on the inside now, but can Brett Smith hold it round the outside to make it 2 abreast down Kingdom Curves? Yes, he can, and Brett Smith takes that position back with a good forceful commanding manoeuvre as they go through the old hairpin. Number 39 Brett Smith really has come on song towards the end of this MX-5 season, driving on some tracks that he now actually knows and loves, and fantastic bit of driving there to hold off runner-up in the championship last year, James Blake Baldwin. Simon Goddard, he's got himself involved in this as well, and look at Charlie Charman, here he comes, number 42. Charlie unfortunately got mugged in the last race. He was sitting in a comfortable 3rd and then lost 3 places in the last lap and a half. And come home and memory serves me correctly, it was 6th gear, but look at this, he's tucked right into the number 46 Blink Motorsport car of Goddard. On the brakes, down the gears, look for your apex point. There it's there. Hit the first one, hit the second one, get back on the power. Try not to run too wide, and that's a good run through the pocket aces from Charman. And he's got a bit of a ride here. Is he pushing him? He's pushing Goddard down the main straight there. And look at Blake Baldwin chopping and seesawing across the track there to try and get underneath the inside of Brett Smith, and he's done it. James Blake Baldwin up into that second place, so now numbers 1 and 2 in flying formation here at Donington as they come through again down this iconic series of track. Look at Brett Smith, he's already thinking about a manoeuvre, isn't he, at the old hairpin. The track's still a little bit damp off line there as you go in, so you're going to have to watch as you go through, because it's so easy to make a mistake if you put a nice warm slick tyre, the warm tyre that these MX-5s have, onto the damp part of the track. So easy for you to lock away and lose adhesion. On board with Goddard, turning in, lots of understeer in the front of that car there. Simon Goddard possibly struggling a bit there, that's maybe something to do with the weather. Stretches the old neck inside the car. Down a gear, turns in towards Coppice, gets over the apex curve, a little bit flighty at the back, but he's hanging in there with these guys at the front. And really this is a masterclass of driving from these 5 guys. Tom Roach, Brett Smith, Simon Goddard, Charlie Charman and James Blake Baldwin, all down towards the Fogarty S's. They come through the corner, not getting too aggressive on those curbs. Oh, Blake Baldwin goes a little bit wide over the top of the curb into a bit of grassy, but didn't actually lose himself any time. Normally that would hurt you on the exit of a corner, it would kill your speed down the straight. Now Charman looks like he could possibly have a pop at Goddard as Brett Smith almost drops a wheel over the white line and into the grass there. Manages to hold that position, and Tom Roach is now starting to just stretch away at the front here. As Roachy leads the field down through corner curves. Look at that, Brett Smith in the grass as they go through the corner curves there, turning in at the bottom, very fast through the whole tape, and great onboard pictures there from Goddard. There's all sorts of tyre noises in the background at that old hairpin. But James Blake Baldwin, he only has eyes for one thing, and that's the back of that Blendini number 1 motorsport car. Off Tom Roach. Blake Baldwin had such a cracking meeting at Snetterton when he took back-to-back victories. He really ruled the roost at a very hot, sticky Snetterton. Almost about to say Sweaterton, yeah. Down the straight they come again. You see the camera starting to move about a little bit on Simon Goddard's car here. He picks up the toe on Brett Smith, and Charlie Charman's just been left out the back of this here as he comes through the Fogarty S's and just get dropped at the back. This is a nightmare for Charlie Charman. There must have been a mistake that we didn't see because he was so close to Simon Goddard before. He's got all that work to do again now as he comes down to Redgate. Alex Preston now. Is that Daniel Rogers right behind him? Yes, the number 70 car. Daniel Rogers still tucked right underneath the bumper of Preston. Preston's obviously got past him because we did see Daniel Rogers making a very good move going through the old hairpin on the first lap. And these two locked in a very heated battle as well. All sorts of screeching as we go through the old hairpin there. Just ahead of us. And through goes Preston as well now. But did Preston lose a little bit of speed there? Was it a little bit wide because Rogers closing right up as they go underneath Starkeys and through the Swans curve in towards McLean's? Can he have a look at the inside? No, he doesn't. Preston covers it. Rogers doesn't even bother to have a look. Sometimes if you have a move at the wrong corner, you can actually cost yourself more time. As they come up towards Coppice, getting on the power as they're coming through and onto the back straight now. Fastest lap of the race actually belongs to Charlie Charman and his charge to get up towards the front. He set that on the second lap of the race, a 1:26.241. It's an incredibly quick lap time with Charman, but it's all gone a little bit wrong since then. As you can see him, he's just been shelved out the back of this battle at the front. Roach is kind of on his own, then the second, third, fourth all together, and then fifth for Charman. Now, what's happened to James Blake Baldwin, or has Tom Roach just elevated that pace that little bit more? Has he turned the screw, making that car work? As you see the other guys all firing down through their kind of curves. Brett Smith really does look like the danger man here. He looks like he is on an absolute mission in that blue car. Number 39 blue car on. Something's gone wrong there. Blake Baldwin was a bit slow, and that's compromised Goddard. Good grief, he drives straight into the back of him as they go underneath Stashgate Bridge and through the Schwantz curve. Now what happened to Brett Smith? Where is Brett Smith? Is he still on the inside of us? He must be, because we're wide at the apex. There's Brett Smith just coming through there. And that all happened. He has to fix his rearview mirror, such was the contact into the back of James Blake Baldwin. But Blake Baldwin made a mistake at the old hairpin there, and that really did compromise Brett Smith. Brett Smith now all over the back of him, and also Simon Goddard basically had nowhere to go. Now, is there smoke coming out underneath of that car? There is. There's something wrong. Blake Baldwin's gone. It looked like there was something coming out underneath of that car as he was coming down the straight. And that's it, James Blake Baldwin, game over as he comes through the Fogarty-S's and peels into the pit lane. Ah, disaster for James Blake Baldwin. Simon Goddard now on the podium, Brett Smith in second place. So these two guys, it's all down to these two guys to have a good battle. Tom Roach, you can see, was just disappearing out of sight as Simon, something right there, gives him the thumbs up. And there's Alan Henderson coming down the main street. Now we haven't seen much of Alan Henderson this weekend. He's been a little bit quiet. Quite surprising. The number 90 car locked in a good battle with Stephen Craggs. I probably put the commentators cursed on Alan in the first race when I said keep your eyes on him because he's all action and fast all the time. We're maybe just struggling a little bit of the setup here this weekend, and we're also missing Ed Gay, and that's a great shame because Ed's a fantastic driver. Great to see him in the championship all the time, and the white car with the lime green mirrors hasn't made it to Donington Park on race day. That's a great shame, but we'll hopefully see Ed back sometime soon. Henderson and Craggs through McLean's. Henderson's car looks just like it's sliding about an awful lot. Alan looks like he's struggling a bit, and that's a great shame because we've seen Alan battling for so many podiums as Craggs goes up the inside. Can't make it move though. Henderson doesn't want to give in and give up that position. But chasing the number 117 car, I believe that's Dan O'Connor ahead of them. They've all Blackwell Chambers as well that he is fighting with. As they come through the area, thankfully there's nothing been dropped on the track from JJ Clements' car. Having said that, it might be a little bit slippy down there as well. Blackwell Chambers runs out of road. There might be something dropped on the track down there making it a little bit slippy. Now back down towards the old hairpin, we see Brett Smith has now managed to put a good few car lengths into Simon Goddard in the number 46 car, who in turn is getting absolutely no pressure from Charlie Charman behind him. Charlie in a quite happy lonesome fourth place, but if you keep doing that, Simon Goddard, you're going to have number 42 all over you very quickly. You might also have a little trip to the infield there. Simon Goddard runs it a little bit wide through McLean's onto the curb and onto the grass. Charlie Charman would be seeing that, and he'll just be trying to follow him, put him under a bit of pressure. Behind Charlie Charman, we've still got the Daniel Rogers and Alex Preston battle, and you can see them coming into the Fogarty-S's just behind us there. Preston still glued to the back bumper of that number 70 Daniel Rogers car. But Tom Roach again leading from the front, doing what he does best, proving he is the best car and driver combination here today. Although James Blake Baldwin was trying hard, but unfortunately just starting to drop back. I'm just wondering if he was maybe starting to suffer some sort of mechanical issues, and that's why he was dropping off from the back of Tom Roach. But he was getting pushed ever so hard by Brett Smith and from Simon Goddard, driving these cars to within an inch of the life as Daniel Rogers turns in with a beautiful little slide through the old hairpin there. Not a huge amount of oversteer, just enough to make you fast. And up towards McLean's he comes. He's going to have to be a little bit quicker though, because Preston, young Alex Preston, definitely looking and feeling quite racy here. Not giving Daniel Rogers a single second to sit and relax in that MX-5. the straight they go. We haven't seen a lot of JJ Clements. He's the next car in view. You can see him there, the Magma People car of JJ Clements, driving around on his lonesome just now, but it's been a very good showing from JJ. Remember, he did win the very first race that we televised at Rockingham. And he's got stronger and stronger as the year has progressed. His blue car on his own coming over the start-finish line just now. Now is Preston going to make a move? Has he lined something up? Is he just waiting to the right moment so he doesn't show his hand too early? What you don't want to do is pass them too early. You don't want to leave it too late as well. Leave it too late and you never know, Daniel Rogers might block absolutely everywhere, which he is entitled to do. He's in the car in front. Alex Preston will just be weighing him up, seeing where he's maybe a little bit stronger on the brakes, can carry a bit more corner speed, and maybe get on the power that bit earlier. This is a good place to try and pass somebody into McLean's, if you can get up the inside of them there, because you can really ruin the other person's drive up towards Coppice and then try and hold them off towards the Fogarty S's. Is that what Preston's plotting? He's not got long to do it, but you're guaranteed he's going to have some sort of shot somewhere along the line. He's definitely in range. He's tucking right into the slipstream now. If Daniel Rogers looks behind him, he won't even see the bonnet, he'll just see the windscreen in his rearview mirror. And Preston just drops back so he gets a good view of the braking zone. And through the curb, oh, Rogers hits the curb. Is that going to force him a bit wide? It forces both of them wide, actually. Took a big lump of sausage curb on the inside there. Very, very lucky to get away with that. Now is Charlie Charman also starting to catch up with Simon Goddard here? Simon Goddard still in third place, Charman in fourth. But is there enough time for Charlie Charman to possibly make some sort of manoeuvre? On this lap, Daniel Rogers got a nice, that's a nice comfortable buffer over Alex Preston actually. The biggest that gap's been in a while as they both come through the old hairpin. The first really caught glimpse of Daniel Rogers at Anglesey. He's put in a fantastic race there. So Daniel Rogers will keep an eye on him, but this is the Blendini Motorsport car going through your picture. That's Tom Roach. We wait for the second place man of Brett Smith. There goes Brett Smith. Then Blink Motorsport of Goddard, Charman. Daniel Rogers come through in another Blink car of Alex Preston, with the bunker sponsorship on the side, and JJ Clements still on his own as he comes down behind Daniel Rogers and Alex Preston in 7th place just now. Once again across the stripe, clicking off another lap here at Donington Park. Not long left in this race now, so if people are going to start making manoeuvres, they have to think about where and when, and really they have to plan it now. Two cars coming down towards us, hugging the inside of the circuit there, then darts back across to take up the racing line. Jade Edwards, Martin Tolley right underneath the rear bumper. The next car through, Dan O'Connor, number 117. Great to see Dan O'Connor's got the car painted after we saw him at Brands Hatch when the car had been hastily rebuilt after a huge accident at Anglesey, and it's now back to its normal form. It's not carrying the primer grey front end which it did have, so congratulations Dan, good job by you and the team there. Up the two Blink Motorsport guys. Now Charlie Charman is definitely catching Simon Goddard here. It's whether Charman's going to have an actual punt, hopefully that's not the term needed, at getting the race lead, as out of the Fogarty S's comes Tom Roach. He crosses the line. That will be Richard Collins ahead of him. Collins about to go a lap down, then Brett Smith in second place, then third and fourth getting ever closer, Goddard and Charman. Daniel Rogers holding that consistent little couple of car lengths over Alex Preston. But this is really the main battle. It's the battle for the final podium step. Is Charlie Charman going to throw that thing up the inside? Is he going to try and nerf Simon Goddard wide? One thing's for sure, these two guys will keep it clean. Good teammates, good driving. They get on really well together. And through the old hairpin, and Simon Goddard can just see that big white thing appearing in his rearview mirror more and more. And he'll be getting a little bit twitchy in that number 46 car. Now, was he giving him a wave past here, or was that him fixing the rearview mirror once again? As he comes up towards McLean, middle of the road, a little bit of a defensive entry from Goddard there as Charman gets over the apex curb, doesn't run wide, carries some good speed up the back of the circuit towards Coppice. Through he comes just now, over the apex curb, and look at this is brilliant bit of onboard camera footage here as we come down the back straight, and it's all going to be about the Fogarty S's. Is he picking up a good toll from that 46 car? He is. Is Goddard going to defend? Yes, Goddard does. He sits himself in the middle of the track. Through we come, both cars getting through the chicane extremely cleanly. Using a little bit more track, and exit curb was Charlie Charman. And here we go, back down towards Redgate. He's looking at the outside. Goddard sitting himself in the inside. Will Charman just head for the apex? No, he doesn't. He thinks better off. It's quite a quick corner entry into Redgate. It's not a place where you can just kind of fire it towards the apex and wipe your teammate out as they head off through Hollywood, down through the crane of curves. That's going to be an interesting battle which will develop over this next lap. But here we pick back up with Roche. Number 1, Tom Roche in the Blendini Motorsport car. Look at the size of the lead he's got. He's driven away from the pack at the front, still though the fastest lap of the race, actually in the hands of that number 42 man, Charlie Charman, in the white car, and he set that on the second lap of the race. So Charlie Charman put an absolute blinder in nice and early. Tom Roach's best lap, looking at the computer screens, just 2/10 off Charlie's lap, but not quick enough as we follow our leader in towards the Fogarty S's. It's been a masterclass by Tom Roach once again. He turns in, perfect first apex, perfect second apex, on the gas. He comes out of the Fogarty S's, climbs up towards the checker flag, and Tom Roach takes another fantastic win here at Donington Park. In second place, an equally fantastic result for Brett Smith. And Simon Goddard's just going to hold off Charlie Charman towards the end there for that final podium spot. But there'll be an added layer of sweat in the balaclava on that number 46 car, because Charlie Charman put an absolute charge on and put a lot of pressure on Goddard towards the end of that one. But no mistaking your winner, it's Tom Roach, who will be absolutely over the moon with that one. So let's have a look at the top 10 after that race at Donington Park. The podium, Tom Roach wins from Brett Smith and Simon Goddard. Charlie Charman and Daniel Rogers run out the top 5, with Preston, Clements, Edwards, Foley and Dan O'Connor coming home in 10th position. Fastest lap of that race was Charlie Charman. We did talk about that. Good comeback drive from Charlie in that race.
Jade, interesting weekend at Donington, changeable weather conditions. How have you found it?
Very changeable, very interesting, but I've enjoyed it overall. We have struggled with a bit of straight line speed this weekend, so it's all about damage limitation, but I've really enjoyed it, had great battles with other guys, and I love changeable conditions, you know. Struggling with straight line speed in the dry, that's where I see it most, but when it starts to rain I was gaining positions and things like that, so overall really happy with the progress and looking forward to Silverstone.
Absolutely, and I suppose with the changeable weather conditions, it puts everything on a level playing field, doesn't it? Exactly.
When it starts raining or it becomes greasy or whatever, you know, the straight line speed's not so obvious. So when it did start raining, I was gaining lots of positions. I actually set fastest lap when it was raining. So overall, I'm happy with my own pace. We're just going to improve the car now for Silverstone and hopefully end on a high.
Right, Tom. Well, congratulations again. Here we are. You got away with the rain and the weather, didn't you?
Yeah. It was dry all this, so yeah, it looked like it was going to rain before, and it rained just as we finished, but our race was dry.
And it was very tight at the first few laps were very tight at the front, wasn't it?
Yeah. James and Brett were real close at the beginning. There's really good tow everywhere, and I thought we were set up for a really close race, but I think they just fighted a little bit, and I managed to break the toe a bit, and then James had a problem and had to pull in the pits, and by which time I sort of had a few car lengths on Brett. Just kind of got my head down really and tried to just concentrate on going as fast as I could, and yeah. The
aim in that race was to come in the top 3 to seal a championship, and you managed to do that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, massive relief. It's been a brilliant year. I got to say, massive thank you to Blendini Motorsport and Blink Motorsport as well for the engine. I mean, that's the same engine I've had for 2 years, and it's better now than when I first put it in the car. It's amazing, and my car, as always, is fantastic. It's just a pleasure to drive. It's been a great year, but it's just, and it always looked like I was going to win the championship, but it's just nice to know that now it's done, and yeah.
You can relax now, can't you?
Exactly, yeah, I can enjoy it, and yeah, go and have a good night tonight.
Yeah, well, you're smiling, so congratulations.
Thanks a lot.